Hi again, everybody. This is the Bricks and Bleachers podcast. All things Chicago Cubs in under 10 minutes. Just over 1 month remains in the regular season, and the Cubs have a lot of work to do if they hope to be playing in October. We will talk about what needs to happen for the Cubs to make the postseason. A reshuffling is underway in the Cubs bullpen. A familiar face returns to Wrigley, and much more just ahead. Cubs won big yesterday, a 10-2 win over the Tigers on Thursday. Justin Steele with another nice outing. 7 innings and 10 strikeouts, only his 4th win of the season. Justin Steele is 4-5 on the year. His performance most of the time has been good. He consistently gets saddled with little run support. Not the case yesterday, though, with 10 runs being put up by the Cubs. Miguel Amaya doing his part. His 2nd home run in a week on Thursday. It was a big one. It was a grand slam. Amaya 3 for 4 on the day yesterday, and the Cubs take 2 of 3 from the Tigers. That's what they're going to have to do the rest of the season. 34 games remain. Cubs are 63-65. They will have to win the equivalent of 2 of every 3 games the rest of the way to be a contender for a wild card spot. In fact, I'm going to take it one step farther and round up and say they have to win 23 of the remaining 34 games. That would put the Cubs at 86-76. 86 wins, usually enough to slide in as a wild card. That results in a winning percentage of .531. And at the moment, a winning percentage of .531 would land you outside of the postseason. So we'll see how things play out here in the coming weeks. We're not going to get too deep into statistics and projections, but Cubs essentially need to win 2 of every 3. Schedule includes a lot of sub-500 teams, so that looks pretty good. But it's not a cakewalk in September. Yankees, Phillies, and Dodgers all remain on the Cubs schedule in the coming weeks. Stat-wise, Cubs bullpen is the top bullpen in Major League Baseball these last couple months, but a lack of a true closer has been a real problem all season. I believe the number is up to 22 now with blown saves by the Cubs this season. It's not the highest number in Major League Baseball, but it is close. And with all save opportunities, the Cubs have converted roughly 55% of those opportunities. You'd like to see that number higher than in the low to mid 50% range, but that's where the Cubs are at right now here in late August. Struggles began very early on with Adbert Alzolay in April, and then they moved on to Hector Neris, moving him into the closer position. That didn't really work out either. He's much more effective as a setup guy, and now the Cubs have decided to move on from Hector Neris. They cut him earlier this week, and I'm not sure if it's official just yet, but there have been numerous reports for the last 24 hours or so saying Hector Neris is returning to the Houston Astros with, again, what is being reported to be a prorated league minimum contract. I would not be surprised if he looks good there with the Astros. It's not because he played with them recently. It's because they will use him as a setup guy. I think had the Cubs used him as a 7th inning or likely an 8th inning guy, I think he probably would have flourished, but not in the 9th inning. He was also on pace to trigger an option for 2025. Cubs did not want to be on the hook for that contract next season, and the performance just was not there to even stomach that the rest of this season. So moving on from Hector Neris, now Jack Neely. He was acquired from the Yankees in the Mark Leiter Jr. trade in July. He was one of those minor league prospects. Jack Neely now on the Chicago Cubs active roster, and he made his major league debut on Wednesday. It did not go well. 4-2 Tigers when Neely entered. It was 8-2 when he exited. He did pitch again yesterday, and he looked much better in the 9th inning. So it's either Jorge Lopez or Porter Hodge as the Cubs' main closer option these closing weeks of the season. Lopez got his first save with the Cubs on Saturday. Hodge got the save on Tuesday. I think that's his 2nd save. Lopez has experience as a major league closer. Hodge does not. We'll see how this closing situation plays out. Cubs also expect the return of a couple more familiar arms. Hayden Wesneski battling back from a forearm strain through a bullpen session on Wednesday. Guessing he'll have a couple more of those before he is cleared to rejoin the club. I would say early September is when you could pencil in a Wesneski return. Jordan Wicks this week had his third rehab outing. 4-inning, 4-strikeout start for AAA Iowa. The Cubs say they expect another rehab outing or two from him. So let's say he'll be back in early September. This and that, our look at news and notes from around Major League Baseball. More proof spending does not guarantee wins. According to Codify Baseball, the 6 highest paid pitchers in Major League Baseball have combined for just 11 wins this season, despite a combined salary of more than $230 million. We're talking about Scherzer, Verlander, DeGrom, Cole, Corbin, and Strasburg. And with 2 guys each, lots of dead money being spent on starting pitching this year by both the Rangers and Nationals. Cubs don't play the Braves anymore this season, and that is a good thing because if it's a close game, you can guarantee it's going to be shutdown time for Braves closer Raisel Iglesias. He was perfect again last night, his 11th straight perfect inning. He has not given up a base runner since July 27th. That's 35 consecutive batters retired. That is quite a feat. News broke last evening that Jason Hayward is a free agent again, being cut by the Dodgers. It's not been a great year for Jay Hay, but the Dodgers just have too many guys and not enough roster spots. So Hayward gets squeezed out, but he does go out with a bang in what would turn out to be his final at-bat with the Dodgers. He homered on Tuesday night. It was a pretty important 3-run home run late in that game, which the Dodgers ended up winning. And we'll stay with the topic of former Chicago Cubs with Javy Baez getting a warm welcome Tuesday night at Wrigley Field. His first appearance there since the Cubs traded him at the deadline in 2021. Yes, he was all smiles early on in the evening. And then once the game got underway, it did not go well for Javy Baez. A golden sombrero, as it's known. 4 strikeouts in one game. Baez goes over 4 Tuesday night. Now back to the Chicago Cubs. A long late-season road trip gets underway tonight in South Florida. A 9-game road trip with a 3-game series this weekend with Miami. Only the White Sox have a record worse than the Marlins. So you really want to see the Cubs get 2 of 3 this weekend, or all 3. That would be pretty acceptable as well. Kyle Hendricks and Max Meyer, the pitching matchup tonight. After being skipped to the rotation about a week and a half ago, Hendricks came back with 5 solid innings in a start against Toronto last Friday. For the Marlins, Max Meyer will be making just his 9th start of the season. He's 3-3 on the year, ERA over 5.5. Meyer has been splitting time this year between the majors and minors. Marlins AAA team has a great name, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. First pitch tonight at 7:10 Eastern. Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs on Saturday. That's a 4:05 start. And then Javier Assad Sunday afternoon. It's midday on Friday. Marlins have yet to announce their starting pitchers for Saturday and Sunday. Cubs are in Pittsburgh on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They've got Thursday off. And then in our nation's capital next weekend for a 3-game set with the Washington Nationals. If the Cubs don't rack up 6 or 7 wins on this road trip, I think you could write off any postseason chance for the Cubs in 2024. Cubs have yet to play the Nats this year, but they have split 4 games so far in a series with the Marlins at Wrigley Field earlier this year. And the Cubs are 3-4 so far this year against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Follow and comment anytime on X, Bricks Bleachers. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our next episode. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. All things Chicago Cubs in under 10 minutes. This is the Bricks and Bleachers Podcast.